YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, going to be doing some online gameplay here in Total War Warhammer. I haven't picked the vampires in a while. Let's go vampire, he's gonna go empire, so let's think about what we're gonna be up against. Potentially demigryph knights, which are gonna be quite challenging. Let's see. Definitely want some cryptors. When I say some, I mean quite a few. Definitely taking von Carstein. And let's give Manfred his mount. Trying to think if any of these guys really have anything useful. I wish some of these melee heroes actually impacted the rest of your units more. It'd be nice rather than just stuff that impacts themselves. It seems kind of meh. Let's see. A couple Black Knights. Get some Graveguard. Part of me definitely wants some Vargeist, but at the same time, not sure how much good they'll do me. Let's just try this out. I don't know if this will work very good or not. No idea. Depends on what my opponent brings. If he's got demigryphs, I'm just counting on Fate of Buna to help deal with them. There's really not any units I have that counter demigryphs very well. In fact, none at all. So that's one of the problems for the vampires. They certainly don't have any solid counters to demigryphs. Of course, few people do. Cannons are actually pretty effective at damaging demigryph knights. So that's one way to potentially go at it. Let's see. I'm going to get kind of my crappy infantry up front. I'm going to get several of these cryptors to kind of reinforce that crappy infantry. And then I want these guys with more cryptors on the flank. And I'm going to put my cavalry... Let's keep my cavalry kind of inside at the moment because, again, we're not going to want it to go head-to-head with demigryphs. I have no idea how this will go. Let me familiarize myself with the spells real quick before this thing starts. Fate of Buna is right here. So this one is going to be good versus demigryphs. This one good versus an enemy lord. That one's 13 magic. This one's 7. We're going to need enough magic to do this, so probably ought to back up just to give the Winds of Magic time to charge up. And if he has artillery, I may not start right in his range. Let's check out his army. Cheap spearmen, as expected. Flying monster is going to counter luminark, so he's planning to snipe down my von Carstein. So pretty understandable build from him. But if he's got 2 luminarks, that's a considerable amount of spend. He's got a spearman. He's got his monster. There's his demigryphs. So I'm seeing at least 2 demigryphs as well. Luminark, as long as I can keep von Carstein away from, we'll be good. The luminark otherwise isn't going to cause a lot of damage. Let's see what the range on those luminarks look like. Pretty long range. All I got, I mean, it's going to make sure that I keep von Carstein at a distance to start with, which kind of sucks, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And if I'm moving, the luminarks are a heck of a lot less likely to hit me. It's going to keep a solid distance from the luminarks. Let's get my infantry moved up. It's possible I could win this. I just need to probably just tie down his spearmen with my crap infantry and focus everything else on his demigryphs. Keep my lord out of range of their luminark. I'm gonna have to wait a while for the rest of my units to catch up. And I've got von Carstein well back from the 2 luminarks. He's trying to move them forward and just get at me. He's still pretty decent way out of range, and I can just keep backing up. I'm not going to give his luminark easy sniping. So I'm gonna just keep letting all my other units catch up. I'm gonna stay well back out of his luminark's range, which we are. He's nowhere near von Carstein in range, so that's the benefit of having a flying unit as well. His luminarks are not on fire at will, and I would expect that he is going to persistently and consistently target von Carstein, so I'm going to kind of move von Carstein around. Okay, my opponent, I'm obviously wise to his quite obvious strategy here. I'm just going to walk my army forward for a moment. Just make sure we're watching the range on the luminarks. But we do want to bring von Carstein in as soon as I have an opportunity. Now his demigryph knights are going to be quite good versus my cryptors and my graveguard. They're going to be good against just about everything. I can probably tear apart his infantry line. There's halberd demigryph knights as well that I haven't been able to see yet. It's good to know. Those are a significant danger to my cryptors, and again to all my units. Not just cryptors. How far back can he range? He's still quite a ways out of range. So demigryphs with halberds, demigryph knights, just the standard variety over here. If we can tie down his demigryph with several units, it might give me some chance here. Okay, I'm gonna kind of just walk forward here. Okay, his luminark's starting to fire at the ground. That's fine. It's not going to do any real damage to my infantry, and I'll move up von Carstein as soon as I feel like I've got enough diversion. If my crypt ghouls could get to his luminark, that would be a big win also. Okay, his demigryphs are just going to straight charge me over here. I do believe that's a little bit of a mistake. I could be wrong though, but I don't think his demigryphs just straight up taking all this on is a smart plan. Let's keep pushing his demigryphs back over here. Not time to bring up von Carstein yet. Look at his demigryphs though, how much damage they're tanking. Not bad at all. I'm actually going to take these crypt ghouls and go try and hunt down a luminark, while all my graveguard hopefully just keep his demigryphs busy. Let's bring von Carstein in. I'm going to keep chasing these demigryphs. He's kind of breaking up my main line with his general, as one could expect. He has another demigryph knight here. Yeah, he's got a pretty effective resistance at the moment. His demigryph knights over here just straight up beasting my men. Okay, von Carstein's coming up. I still haven't actually seen him fire at me, so I'm going to do a Spirit Leech here. Got him, and then I'm going to do a Fate of Yuna here on the Demigryph Knights.
Was weak. Witness true power. Swift as death's wings.
Okay, how are we doing? How are we doing? His Demigryph Knights over there kind of getting pulled down a little bit.
So it is.
Let's see, my Spirit Leech is ready. Okay, he's going to try and shoot at me while I'm going after one Luminark, and then he's pulling out his Demigryph Knights. We routed one Luminark, though. That's good news. Get back in the air, von Carstein. Get back in the air, please. Okay, please get back in the air. Why are you running from the Demigryph Knights like this? This is so infuriating. He won't take off. Yeah, von Carstein's dead because he won't take off. He won't get back in the air, and I'm going to lose the match because of it. I can't get von Carstein back in the air. Please, take to the air. For the love of goodness. Von Carstein died. Yeah, so this is pretty much over. Probably. I mean, I don't know for sure because I'm pretty sure we also killed their... general. A little bit frustrated with the way von Carstein just absolutely would not take off. Let's go support these Crypt Ghouls. I've got another Luminark tied down out here. We've got more units we can pull in, so I guess this is still winnable, potentially. I mean, my guys are in bad shape, though, because of the loss of von Carstein. But it looks like in my haste to try and free von Carstein, I won a lot of other fights, fortunately. But it's going to be extraordinarily difficult for me to take out his Demigryph Knights at this point. They might very well single-handedly win him this battle. They've taken some pretty severe damage, but I just don't know if my Crypt Horrors can dish out enough damage to these Demigryph Knights. We'll see. Let's try and bog them down. He definitely brought a counter-vampire army here, but I think I'm going to be able to tank this one out. Yeah, the Demigryph Knights ate it, so he's boned at this point. I was a little bit worried, honestly, but looks like the number of Crypt Horrors and other units left. So basically, we swamped him with numbers. So some of you have asked me about the Luminark before too, like could you bring multiples? Would it be any good? I didn't do the best job controlling my army there. I really didn't. I get so distracted in these Warhammer battles. Like, they happen fast, and there's a bunch of different spells and stuff, but I think the best thing to do is to just probably come into these with some kind of a plan in mind and then execute that plan, as opposed to just kind of blindly trying to react like I did there, and then it probably leaves you in better shape. So von Carstein did not get any kills, but he did manage to get a Fate of Yuna off on one of the Demigryph Knights, which was extraordinarily helpful. And then I was also able to get a Spirit Leech off on the General of the Empire, maybe two. So that, again, very helpful. That's going to end up working out there. Let's go look at that replay real quick and just kind of take a look at what went right and what went wrong. Obviously needed to do a better job controlling them in. One of the good things about Crypt Horrors is they regenerate. And if they're supported by infantry, they're going to be pretty good at helping your infantry break other infantry. If you just send them alone into enemy infantry, I would not expect very good results from such a fight. This is one of the longest Warhammer battles I've been in. It's like 9 minutes. So, yeah, let's see. He just had an Empire General, and then, again, his two Luminarks there. This constitutes over 4,000 gold. And then, tie that in with 3 Demigryph Knights, and that's going to be another 3 times 1,400. So 4,200 more. So a significant portion of his whole army is tied up there. And then another pretty significant portion is going to be right here in this flying monster. And he's also even got a Bright Wizard. Or a Light Wizard. I'm not even sure the Light Wizard was really well used during this, but I think the Light Wizard is probably overkill. I don't see what he's going to really do to help you against the vampires. Especially when you've got 2 luminarks and demigryph knights, and you can see he was holding this one demigryph knight in the woods. But yeah, so obviously my plan's pretty straightforward. Like I said, just use the cheap infantry to be supported by the real killers here, which are the butt hair wielding crypt horrors. You can even see the stink like coming off of their crotch and butt there. So that's really what the horror is. The horror is their smell. Let's fast forward a little bit. Just kind of watch what happens here in some of these engagements. The demigryph knights fleeing back from me. Von Carstein just chilling out back here in the forest, knowing that the whole dang Empire army is made to kill him. There's the Light Wizard putting a vortex right in the middle of my army. I mean, that's not going to be super effective. Those vortex spells, you kind of need to cast them along the line of the army to usually have better effect. So, I mean, it'll do a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be anything significant, and really won't do much to the crypt horrors. And you'll notice that since he didn't bring any skirmishers, I can kind of just lazy up to him at my leisure here. And you can see the Luminark is absolutely worthless versus ground units. It really only works good against monsters. So here you go again. My monsters supporting my infantry. Skeleton warriors will be a nice cheap way to make sure his spearmen don't be too effective, and then the crypt horrors are going to come in here and dish the damage out. And then again on the flanks, I have to send like 4 or 5 units just to tie down one demigryph knight. But hey, I can afford it because their demigryph knight's expensive. Yeah, so here you can see the crypt horrors kind of helping my skeleton warriors do their thing, but the Empire General gonna come in here, and that's gonna wreak havoc on my skeletons. It's gonna make them start wanting to crumble. These are halberds too for the Empire, not spearmen. No, they're just spearmen. They just look like halberds. Yeah. Anyway, so you can see that he gets all of his units committed, and right here he's distracted with his luminarks. So what's the whole point of bringing 2 luminarks to shoot down Von Carstein if when Von Carstein approaches, you don't even take a shot at him? So I think this is a big mistake because it allows me to come up here, and you're going to watch. I'm going to hit the Empire General with the Spirit Leech, and then easily get this Demigryph Knight with the Fate of Buna. At least I'm pretty sure I got it with one. Sure did. Yep, I got them with that Fate of Buna, and you can see there that their health is dropping very, very rapidly. I think it was probably questionable for me to come down on the ground right here, but I was thinking, I can get rid of this Luminark pretty easy. Look at their wizard over there running from crypt horrors and stuff. He shot a fireball at me? Yeah, this was frustrating. I guess Von Carstein struggles to get back in the air if he can't get away from combat, and since the demigryphs can catch up with him, it started doing a ton of damage. And I didn't have enough winds of magic for another Fate of Buna. You can see it almost finished these guys off, but not quite. And then I took a big shot right there from his other Luminark, and that was pretty painful. So this is a bad situation. I was just lucky these guys didn't have halberds, or I would have been dead even sooner. But like I said, at this point, there's too many of my crypt horrors left for his crappy infantry to handle. And then right here, you can see his Empire General wavering and my crypt horror chasing it. And that guy is he's gonna go and rout. And he has poison in his. I think he's poisoned right now for my crypt horrors. I don't know if he just successfully routs or if he dies. Looks like he came back right there. Yeah, no damage being done from poison. I guess my opponent just straight forgets about him. Let's watch the Luminark here get wailed on by crypt horrors. This was kind of a weird battle. Neither player, myself included, probably doing the best here to control their army. I'm guessing these nice little pretty wizards on their pretty chariot aren't liking this. Demigryph Knights, though, they'll probably set this somewhat straight. Crypt horrors are now crumbling under the assault of the Demigryph Knights. It takes a pretty good beating to get rid of that Luminark there. Yeah, check it out. My crypt horrors just completely crumbling. Got completely destroyed by the Demigryph Knights, and those ones don't even have halberds. Right here, though, they didn't get a charge on my crypt horrors, so my crypt horrors ought to do decently in that exchange. Look at that. Luminark still firing. Unfortunately, there's nothing of value left on the battlefield for it to hit, and it looks like their general just routed again. So let's watch all the units it takes to mop up a remaining demigryph. Those Cryptors, man, those are some scary looking freaks. He probably tried to retreat his demigryphs. Here's the dead zombie dragon of von Carstein. Yeah, had my Black Knights left too to chase down his luminarks, and probably should have been doing that, but they weren't doing anything at that point. So yeah, at this point it was over. So interesting. He definitely brought a counter vampire army, though I do not agree with the way that he did it. What I would say, and so my army was pretty one-dimensional too. Like I didn't even have any flying units. But if I were gonna bring I mean, I did a counter army similar to this once. I don't know if he was actually trying to copy that or not, but I mean, I like the idea of having the Imperial Griffin. You definitely want that. I don't think the Wizard's necessary at all. And I think that if you're going against the vampires, you're right to get the cheap spearmen because you can get a pretty fair amount of them. If I go into the large fund just to make sure I'm on the right one. So, I mean, you can have like 6 of those spears. And then definitely always go with the Demigryph Knights with halberds. You're just better off. If he wanted to bring a Luminark, I mean, he could bring one. But then again, I mean, he also had, well, see, he had, what, 3 Demigryphs and 2 Luminarks? And how did he get a wizard in here too? Did he have to drop a unit of spearmen? I think this was his army. He had the light wizard there. Yeah, that would have been his army. So he had 5 spears. So yeah, there's really not, there's too much Luminark here. I mean, the Luminark can definitely do some serious damage to von Carstein. And von Carstein can do some pretty serious damage to the Griffin with Spirit Leech. The real question is, can you chase down von Carstein before he can Spirit Leech your general to death? Because the Imperial Griffin with the General of the Empire ought to do quite well against von Carstein in melee, I would think. We can test that real quick. I don't think the AI is smart enough to use Spirit Leech. They may be. Let's swap this around. Vampire counts. Von Carstein, Zombie Dragon, General of the Empire, and Griffin. Let's make sure the settings are on normal so there's no buffs for the AI. Let's try this real quick. Hey, and even if he Spirit Leeches me and I'm able to kill him, it'll be that. But I'm thinking the General of the Empire on the Imperial Griffin is going to be a pretty good trade against von Carstein if he can get into melee. Let's fast forward because the Griffin is a pretty good anti-flyer unit. I don't expect the vampire player for an actual human to allow this to happen. And he did just put a spell on me. And it looks like it is Spirit Leech. So that's good. This will be a good... Is it Spirit Leech? How do you tell what the Lord's under? Yeah, it was Spirit Leech. He definitely put Spirit Leech on me. We're still getting decent damage done, but yeah, von Carstein will definitely win that fight, even with just 1 Spirit Leech. So never mind. You definitely would want the Luminark or something around to help with that, or maybe a Witch Hunter. A Witch Hunter would have swung this fight if it can get close enough. Very close fight, but we got defeated. So yeah, I guess you can't just take von Carstein. 1 Spirit Leech will get it done. But I mean, so if you brought Franz and he had a few more hit points, it might work out. Of course, you have to pay a lot more. Anyway, interesting battle. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.